Good morning, children. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is soil. And this chapter is the 10th chapter of your science book. Okay? Now, first of all, we will know what is soil. So, first of all, I will note down the objective. At the end of this class, you will be able to understand what is soil. What is soil? Then about formation of soil. How is soil formed? Okay, formation of soil. Then we will also learn about soil profile. And soil horizon. So first of all we will know what is soil. What is soil? That is, soil is one of the most important natural resources. Soil is one of the most important natural resource. Then second thing is that it supports the growth of plants by holding the roots firmly and supplying water and nutrients. That is, it supports the growth of plant. It supports the growth of plant. It supports the growth of plants. How? By holding the roots firmly and supplying water and minerals to the plant. It is also a home for many organisms. That is, many organisms are living in the soil. It is habitat for many of the living organisms. So the third point is, it is the home for many organisms. It is the home for many organisms. Fourth point is, it is essential for agriculture. Without soil, agriculture is not at all possible. So, it is essential for agriculture. It is essential for agriculture. And you know, children, that agriculture provides food, clothing and shelter also, isn't it? So it is, and without soil, agriculture cannot be imagined, isn't it? So we can say that soil is inseparable part of our life. Without soil, we cannot imagine our life also. Isn't it? It is also known as the earth. It is also known as earth. Now, topsoil is formed very slowly. Soil is formed very slowly. That's why it should be protected and valued, because it cannot be replaced soon. That is, the formation of soil is a very slow process. Now we can define the soil as, soil can be defined as mixture of rocks, particle and humus. It can be defined as mixture of rock particles, mixture of rock particles and humus. So soil can be defined as a mixture of rock particle and humus, and it is also the outer layer of the earth crust. It is the outer layer of earth crust. Now we will know, children, about its formation, that how is soil formed. Soil formation. Now children, there is a hard layer of rocks. Okay, there is a hard layer of rocks, and due to the natural calamities, like you can say earthquake or volcanic eruption, these big and heavy rocks are broken into smaller pieces and come on the surface of the earth. So we can say that it is the soil formation is the combined effect of physical, chemical and biological process on its parent material, that is the rocks. Okay, so it is the combined effect of what? Physical, chemical and biological process on what? On the its parent material, that is the rocks. And the process is termed as weathering of rocks. The process is termed as weathering of rocks. So, it is weathering of rock is of two types, that is physical and chemical. Physical weathering and chemical weathering. Now, what is weathering of rocks? So, it is the effect of physical, chemical and biological process on the parent material, that is the rock. So, it is of two types, that is physical weathering and chemical weathering. Now, first of all, we will know about what is physical weathering. What is physical weathering of rocks? So, children, the different agents which causes the physical weathering are: number 1, temperature; number 2, water. These are the agents of physical weathering of rocks. Temperature, water, then wind, and fourth one is plants and animals. Now we will know how do they affect. Now you know, children, that first of all we will know about temperature. You know, children, that different minerals are present in the rock. Different minerals are present in the rock. And due to the change, or you can say the variation in the temperature, what will happen? There is expansion and contraction in the rocks. What happens? There is expansion and contraction in the rocks. And this expansion and creation, what do? They creates a weaker zone. The different layer becomes weaker due to the contraction and expansion, and this will break the rock. Okay, this will break the rock. So in this way, temperature plays an important role in breaking the rocks, that is weathering of rock. This is one of the major agent of physical weathering of rocks, because the difference in the temperature creates expansion and contraction in the rocks, and due to this the different zones of the rocks becomes comparatively weaker, and this helps in breaking the rocks. Now children, the second one is water. How does water play an important role in physical weathering? Now children, you know that rainfall or flowing water, what do? They dislocate or shift the soluble and solid particles on the rocks. And then what happens? water, then what happens? The inner portion exposes, and the inner portion exposes to the agent of weathering. So what happens? Dislocated particles are carried and deposited elsewhere. So this also creates the weathering of rocks, because due to heavy rainfall, or you can say that due to flowing water, what happens? There is the shifting in the soluble and solid particles of the rocks, and what will this do? They will expose the inner portion, and what will happen? These located particles are carried down and deposits elsewhere. In this way, the weathering of rocks takes place with the help of water. Now, the third one is wind. How does wind play an important role in weathering of rocks? This is the third. First one is temperature, second one is water, and third one is the wind. This is the third cause, or you can say agent of physical weathering. Now, wind blows and exerts pressure, and the particles attached from the rocks get separated, and here what happens? The wind is acting as a carrying agent. Once again, let me repeat that what happens? Blowing wind exerts pressure, and the particles which are attached from the rocks get separated. Here the wind acts as a carrying agent. So in this way, the sandstorm in the desert and high wind on the seashore have both erosive as well as transportive action. They not even only makes the particles move from here to there, but also it helps in breaking the rocks as well as in transporting the particles. So what happens here? The wind is playing an important role as an erosive as well as transporting action. So now the fourth and last one is the plants and animals. Children, you might have seen that lichens and mosses are growing on the rocks, on, you can say, barren rocks. Lichens and mosses and different plants also, grasses, shrubs, trees also, they grow on the bare rocks. And what happens? The root of these plants go deep in the crevices of rocks. Okay, crevices means crack. So what happens? Suppose that the bare rocks are there and the plants, that is grasses or shrubs, are growing on the bare rocks, then what will happen? The roots will penetrate into the rocks. Thus, how it will penetrate? By creating or by forming cracks or crevices, and they extend the cracks through the growth of root. The roots, as they will grow, then they will extend the cracks, and thus it will result in the weathering of rocks. So children, these are the reason of physical weathering of rocks, that is the temperature, water, wind, plants and animals. They play an important role in physical weathering of rocks. Now we will learn about chemical weathering of rocks. Okay, so what is chemical weathering of rocks? It is due to the organic acid. Number one, it is due to the organic acid, and second one is due to the water. See how the organic acid plays a role in chemical weathering of rocks. Organic acid. So, organic acid, how it plays a major role in chemical weathering of rocks. Now, where does these organic acid comes? It's a question that from where does the organic acids come? It is released from the decomposition of organic matter, that is plants and animals. As the plants and animals are decomposing, then what happens? Organic acid is released, and plants and animals, these organic acids are released from the plants and animals due to the decomposition. These helps in the weathering of rock, which is known as chemical weathering of rocks. That is the organic acid which is secreted or which is released from the decomposition of plants and animals leads in the chemical weathering of rocks. Now, second is water. Children, you know water is a solvent, very good solvent. That is, it is having the tendency to dissolve something, isn't it? It is having the tendency to dissolve something. So what happens? There are several minerals, or you can say mineral salts also. It is present along with the rocks. And what happens? Water being a very good solvent, it dissolves these salts which is present along with the minerals. Then what will happen? If the salt which is present along with the minerals and the salt is dissolved by water, then what will happen? The rock will become comparatively loose, because first of all it was tight. The rock was tightly fixed, isn't it? And the mineral salt which is present along with it, it is dissolved by the solvent like water. Then what happens? The rock will become comparatively loose as some substances get dissolved from it. Then this will result in the weathering of rock. That is, it speed up the process of weathering of rocks, because it is making the rocks comparatively loose, isn't it? So organic acid and water are the two agents of chemical weathering of rocks. Now we have already understood what is soil, how is the soil formed. Now we will learn about soil profile. What is soil profile? Children, you probably know that the soil is formed by breaking down of rocks by the action of wind, water and climate. This process is known as weathering. And the nature of any soil, depends upon the rocks from which it has been formed and the type of vegetation, that is different plants that grows in it. Okay. Now, if you will visit a site where the earth has been dug for building a house, or when you will see a pit or on a roadside cut, you will see that there are different layers in the soil. Okay. When you will observe, then you will find that you will observe that where the earth has been dug and for building a house or anything, then you will see that there are different layers in the soil, and these layers are known as soil horizon. So what is soil horizon? Soil horizon. Layers of soil are known as soil horizon. Layers of soil is known as soil horizon. And the arrangement of these horizons, okay, the layers of soil is known as the soil horizon, and the arrangement in what way it has been arranged, the arrangement of these horizon in a soil is known as soil profile. It is known as soil profile. That is, the different layers of soil is known as soil horizon, whereas the arrangement of these horizon horizons are known as in a soil is known as soil horizon. Soil profile. The different layers of the soil is known as soil horizon, whereas the arrangement of these horizons in a soil is known as soil profile. Now, each layers, the different layers of soil, and in each layer differs from one another in feeling, that is in the texture, in the color, in the depth and the chemical compositions. Okay, so the different soil horizons are different due to the texture, color, depth and chemical composition. Okay, we usually, children, see the top surface of the soil, not the layers below it, isn't it? We are supposed to see only the top surface of the soil, not the layers which is below it. If we look at the sides of a recently dug ditch, we can see that the inner layers of the soil also. We can see the inner layer of the soil also. Such a view, you can say that, enable us to observe the soil profile at that place. So, now we will know about soil horizon, that how the different layers present each soil horizon is different from the other one. The soil horizon, that is the different layers, differ from each other on the basis of, first one is texture, second one is color, third one is chemical composition, and fourth one is the depth. On these basis, children, the very first horizon is the O horizon. The very first horizon is the O horizon. I will show you the different horizon in the diagram. It is the top organic layer of soil. It is made up of leaf litter. Okay, and humus. What is leaf litter? That is dead plant material such as leaves, bark that has fallen to the ground. It is known as leaf litter. Okay, so now first of all, let me show you the soil picture of soil profile, how the different layers are arranged in this. See here, this one is the diagram of soil profile, isn't it? And the top one is O horizon. You see here, the top one is the O horizon, which is also known as organic material. Why it is known as organic material? Because it is the organic layer of soil that is made up of leaf litter and humus. That's why it is known as the organic material. That is, O horizon is also known as the organic layer of the soil. Now just beneath this layer, you see, it is the top soil, that is the A horizon. So Now O horizon, it is the top one. Then it is the organic layer of soil. It is the organic layer of soil. Then it is mainly made up of leaf litter and humus. So the second layer is the A horizon. A horizon. It is also known as topsoil. This layer is also known as topsoil. It is present, you can say, just below the O horizon and above the B horizon. It is present just above the B horizon and below the O horizon. Below the O horizon and above the B horizon. It is generally dark in color. It is generally dark in color. Why it is dark in color? Because it is rich in humus and minerals. That's why its color is comparatively darker. And this humus makes the soil fertile and provides nutrient to the growing plant. This layer is generally soft, porous and can retain more water. This layer is generally soft, porous and can retain more water. Can retain more water. So, once again let me repeat. It is the topsoil. It is also known as topsoil, A horizon, and it is present below the O horizon. Second point. It is dark in color because of the presence of large quantity of humus in it. So its color is comparatively darker. It is soft, porous and can retain more and more water. Now let me show you. See here, this one. Just beneath the organic material, that is O horizon, this one is the topsoil. This is the topsoil, which is also known as A horizon. Okay, it is also known as A horizon. And now this layer also provides shelter to many living organisms. Many of the worms, rodents, etc. they are supposed to live here in this layer, that is the A horizon. And the roots of the smaller plants are embedded in the topsoil. Roots of the smaller plants. See these plants, these are the smaller ones. The roots are embedded in the A horizon only. Now the next one is the B horizon. Next one is the B horizon. So what is B horizon? It is also known as subsoil. It is also known as subsoil. It is present just below the A horizon and above the C horizon. Okay, it is present just below the A horizon and above the C horizon. Then it has lesser amount of humus but more amount of minerals. It is having lesser amount of humus. Lesser amount of humus but comparatively large amount, or you can say more amount of minerals. More amount of minerals. Then this layer is generally harder and more compact. Unlike the A horizon just now I explained you that it is soft and porous and it can retain more water. But B horizon is comparatively harder and more compact. Okay. Now, the next one is the C horizon. The next one is the C horizon. What is the C horizon? Children, see this one. This one is the C horizon. It is also known as weathered or decomposed rock. This layer is just below the B horizon and above the R horizon, and it is made up of slightly broken up bedrocks, and plant's root can't penetrate this layer. So these are the characteristics of C horizon, that it is just below B horizon and above R horizon, below B horizon and above R horizon, above R horizon, and it is made up of slightly broken up bedrocks. It is made up of slightly broken bedrocks. And plant's root cannot penetrate this layer, and very little organic material is also present in this layer. Very little organic material. Now the last one is R horizon. It is made up of bedrock, that is, here the rocks are unweathered and it is very hard, and here the rocks are present in unweathered form. That is, weathering of rocks does not occur here, and it is very difficult to dig this layer, and it is present beneath all the other layers. Okay children, and you note down your assignment. The soil profile is completed. Now you note down your home assignment. Draw the diagram of soil profile. Draw the diagram of soil profile and label it. Okay children.